Hey guys, I have another multi-tool I want to show you guys and talk about a little bit. This is the SOG PowerLock, and over here is the box it comes in. Very cool. Of course, you're going to get your paperwork in there, a little mini catalog. But I want to take the tool right out just to jump right into this review. There's a lot to talk about. First thing I want to talk about is this sheath. I absolutely love this sheath. I think it's fantastic. I think it's great attention to detail. Good quality nylon, very good stitching on this. Some sheaths I had from different companies, they arrived new from the factory with the stitching being frayed, coming apart, kind of loose. You got little strings hanging off and stuff like that. And this one's one of the best, definitely top quality sheaths that came with the multi-tool. Something as simple as having a pocket clip or a belt clip. Very functional. I like this quite a bit. It's very easy to get on and off my belt without having to take my belt off to loop through something. So I find it very convenient. I do like the sheath quite a bit. Of course, you have the logo there. It's very nice. Here's the multi-tool itself. This is a SOG PowerLock, as I mentioned. There's a lot of different versions of the PowerLock. This one is the EOD version in the polished stainless steel. The EOD stands for Explosives Ordnance Disposal, and basically in layman terms, that's just bomb technician, bomb squad. And those guys obviously are dealing a lot with explosives, and they're going to deal with a lot of wires. And what makes this the EOD version is having the wire crimpers in the base of the handle here. Okay, very important tool, obviously, for those guys and gals. Also, in the handle here, there's folding scissors, as opposed to, it's on the other side, I believe. Having the scissors as opposed to the V cutter. And here those folding scissors are. Some of the other models, some of the other PowerLock models have a V cutter, which is basically like a seatbelt cutter style rescue tool. Can be very handy, but of course, dealing with the technician, the bomb squad stuff, you're going to want the scissors, as opposed to the V cutter. They're just a little bit more helpful. So that's what makes this the EOD version. Also, as I mentioned before, this is a polished stainless steel. They do have many versions which are black oxide coated. Very cool looking multi-tools. I mean, they certainly serve a role. But I prefer an uncoated multi-tool only because with wear, I'd rather have scratches than to have black wearing off. So that's just personal preference. Some people do like the black and prefer that. I happen to like this version. This specific version is the model S61, in case you're looking for it. Again, you can always check out SOG's website, which is www.sogknives.com, and look at different variations on different models. First thing I noticed with this when I first got it is it's extremely smooth. Opening and closing, it's just, it's really, really smooth. And that's no modifications. I did not oil this. I did not adjust the pivots or anything. Straight from the factory, it was very, very smooth. Much smoother than some of the Leathermans that I've personally owned, as well as some of the Gerber multi-tools I've owned. So major, major plus. Attention to detail with this, something as simple as the very tip of the needle nose pliers are tapered. And let me get you in real close with my jeweler's loop here to show you that. So like I said, something very simple as having that tapered, so you can deal with really, really fine work. You can grip something extremely small. Again, a little feature that some of my other multi-tools I've used in the past just lacked. I really like that quite a bit. The wire cutters work beautiful. As you saw in the beginning of this video, the introduction, I had a little collage of pictures, and those were actually some home improvement projects I've been doing recently. I worked in my bathroom. I did a whole bunch of different stuff, and this tool was with me the entire time, and it worked perfectly for every task I needed to do. Most recently, actually yesterday, I actually put a car stereo in my car, and I had over a dozen different wires I needed to strip, and it worked perfectly. It was really a very good companion, and I got it done in no time. So I really, really like this multi-tool quite a bit. What's contributing to this nice smoothness, opening and closing, as well as giving me much more leverage, is the SOG compound leverage design. And you can read a little bit more about this on their website. But basically, by having these gears on top here, it gives you a lot more leverage. In other words, when you're gripping something, now I don't want to squeeze my finger, obviously, but when I'm gripping down on something, it literally takes less hand pressure, less force of me squeezing to grip what I need to grip. And I've directly compared this to, again, some of the Gerber models, which I personally have not owned, but I had to borrow for this test, and my Leatherman Wave. and they do grip a lot easier. This is specifically useful when you're crimping wires. You don't have to really grip down hard on that. It does the work for you, as well as cutting wires. You know, I've cut a couple of thick wires, and it took hardly any effort at all to cut through them. And again, you can see that in the collage of pictures I put in the beginning of the video. So very cool, very effective tool. Open like this, the measurement is 7.1 inches long, and of course closed, it's a little less. It's 4.6 inches. Now, as far as weight, I don't have that information, so I'm just going to weigh it right here for you. Couldn't find it really online anywhere. So now I have not previously weighed this at all, but we're going to do that right now on camera here. So let me make sure I'm in ounces, and at 0. And let's weigh this. It's weighing 9.94 ounces. Now let me take it off the scale and confirm that by weighing it again. And there it is, 9.94 ounces. So it's definitely heavier than an average pocket knife, but it's really not all that heavy in general. Of course, you guys can look up different information on different multi-tools to compare that to see if it's heavier or lighter than other models that maybe you've personally owned or have experience with. But generally, it feels pretty good on the belt. Again, you know, in the sheath, I've carried this multiple times already, just out and about on the town, and I had it on my left side, my weak side, and you know, I kind of forget about it. I mean, I know it's there, but it's not really dragging me down or weighing my pants down or anything like that. It's definitely a manageable weight. So let's talk a little bit about the tools and the handles here. One downside I'll say about this knife, or excuse me, this multi-tool, is that I would like the tools to be accessible from the outside. They're not. They're on the inside, which is actually very common for multi-tools. That's one downside in my opinion. I would like to be able to access the smaller tools without having to open the pliers. Not a huge deal, but I did want to mention it. Now, these PowerLock models have these handle guards. Now, some people don't like these. I actually think they're very useful. They serve a purpose. Not only do they keep the tools in when you don't want them to come out, they're not going to come out, but it also gives you much better ergonomics. Okay, giving you nice rounded edges here so you can, you know, grab onto things with the pliers. If you lift these up and you feel the handle without them, I wouldn't say they're sharp edges at all, but they're a little acute. They're acute. That's A-C-U-T-E, not like teddy bear cute. What I mean by acute is very shallow angles. So it's not sharp, but it's uncomfortable. Not terribly bad, but these handles definitely improve the ergonomics. So they do serve a function. So let's go over some of the tools in here. First, you have the three-sided saw. Next, you have a combination, very small flathead screwdriver and can opener. And by the way, these all lock in. These lock in kind of like a lockback. Basically the same design as a lockback knife, where you actually have a pivot point here. A pin goes through all these lock bars, and to depress the lock or to lift it up, you push on the bottom here. And you push down, and that's going to lift the bar up. Now, let me get in close here and show you this in better detail. You can see there, by pushing down on one side, keep this in focus, let me go up the top here, you're actually lifting the bar up, which is unlocking the tool. Now, there's one bar for each individual tool, but I find that it's obviously very hard to specifically grab one bar. So I just push the whole section here. It's not a big deal. If I have a tool open only on one side, I'll just kind of push on that side, and it works fine in opening and closing them. Like I said, they do lock very strong. They're not going to close on you. So we have the three-sided saw. We have the combination small flathead screwdriver and that can opener. Next we have, skipped over a little bit. Next we have our Phillips head screwdriver. Then we have our large flathead screwdriver. And then the last tool, second to last, skipping over tools here. Here's the awl. Now this one actually comes fairly sharp. A lot of different tools I've had in the past, they're extremely blunt or rounded, which is obviously not very helpful for some of the tasks you would need an awl for. But this has a pretty small tip there, and it is fairly sharp. I would probably touch this up a little more if I were going to use it, but it's definitely an improvement compared to other multi-tools I've had. And then lastly, we have our saw. Now what's cool, I'll have to get nice and close in with this too, is that this is a double-sided saw. In other words, there's two sets of teeth. Let me open this up all the way so I can get a better view on this for you. See, there's two sets of teeth here, so it makes cutting a lot easier. You can you're actually cutting material when you're drawing your stroke as well as pushing forward. So cut, 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 as opposed to a one-sided tooth saw where you're only, like, let's say you're pushing forward, it's not cutting, you're only cutting in one direction, so it literally takes half the time. So a very good saw. Let's unlock those and put those tools away for you. Alright, now the other side. Let's see what we got on the other side here. First we have our folding scissors, as I mentioned before. Now the folding scissors obviously come in handy quite a bit, not just for bomb technicians, but for anyone, the average day. We use the scissors quite a bit actually in this tool. Let's actually let me go through all of them before I unlock them. The next one here. Now this one confused me when I first got this. It said it's a 1/4 inch drive. And let me get in close and show you this. And I really didn't know what that was for. It's just kind of like a squared off tool, and I was a little bit confused. I had to look it up, and I found out it's basically just to put in a ratchet set. You know, you can use ratchets. So very useful tool. I personally will not use it, but you know, there are people who will. So that's good to have. The next tool here. Let me lock that. Let's see. The next tool here is your bottle opener and medium-sized flathead. Now, of course, these small, medium, and large flathead screwdrivers can also be used for Phillips head screws, depending on the size. And, of course, our last tool here is our main knife blade. Now, this is a combo edge blade, as you can see here, half serrated on the bottom, half plain edge, clip point design. Comes actually very sharp, which I'm surprised because a lot of multi-tools, or I should say lesser quality multi-tools, usually have a dull blade. But this comes very sharp, right from the factory. And of course that does lock open like all the other tools. So let's close those up. And close that handle. So those are all the tools. It's a very, very useful tool. I mean, multi-tools in general are obviously very useful. And again, you want to look at all the tools and the breakdown of tools and really figure out which model is best for you. You don't want to carry a big multi-tool like this if you're only going to use maybe 2 or 3 of the tools. There's different options you can go. So again, you know, you want to fit it to your personal needs. This specific model, this EOD version, is listed for $110 retail. But again, don't expect to pay that full price. Do a little research online. You can get this one anywhere from $60 to $80 brand new. Now, if you're lucky, you can hop on a forum and get this used for even cheaper. But like I said, brand new, expect to pay between $60 and $80, which I think is well worth it. It's definitely a big player in the multi-tool game. It's very comparable to many other similar priced models from different companies, and it really puts out the performance. Like I said, I had a lot of different things I need this for recently in the last couple months, and it's performed great for me. I have not been disappointed whatsoever. So there it is, the SOG PowerLock EOD version. Again, this is the model S61. So thanks again for your time. I always appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.